Hey everybody, Christian here with Android Unite, back again with another product review video, and this time we're taking a look at the Drone Mountain Airpack. Now this thing is a backpack solution for your Typhoon H. If you guys have seen my previous videos, I ended up purchasing one about 2 months ago. Such a great hexacopter. I've used it both in downtown shoots as well as parks. You know, I fly a little bit here at home, but overall, I've mainly used it for a social media campaign that I've started up. It's called Waco Forever. So you guys can see there, the logo. See if I can get. So if you guys are interested at all, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to YouTube, look up Waco Forever. Once you see this logo, you know you've found the right page. So anyway, go check out some of my drone videos there. You know, I'm trying to get better every single time I go out there, but any videos that have been shot within the last week and a half have been exclusively done with me taking this out in the field, and I'm about to tell you what I like, what I don't like, so stick around. All right, well, here's the backpack itself, and before I jump into emptying everything and letting you know what all fits in it, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what it looks like on the outside. And so first and foremost, you're going to find this little latch here, this little clip that you're going to have to undo every time you get into the backpack. Otherwise, you're going to have, you know, this hanging down fairly low, so you don't want that. You know, clasping this together, super easy, so it's not that big of a deal. It also has two additional clasps on either side, which I tend not to use because it impedes the zipper and just, you know, the time it takes to clasp and unclasp those. It just adds to the setup time, so I choose to ignore that. You do have three main compartments, the first of which is here. It took me a while to figure that out. I didn't see it at first. It was very well hidden, in my opinion. So it's got one here that is able to hold, you know, maybe a sandwich-sized accessory. It's got the secondary compartment, which is extremely useful. It goes from the top here to the very bottom, which I use to keep my propellers and the FPVLR box that I'll show you guys in a second. I made just a protective box. The third and final one is the main compartment up here at the top, and that is where the DSLR that I carry with me at all times is, as well as the drone itself, the controller, and you know, it's got some spare room, so anything else you might want to fit in there. I'll show you how I've got it set up. So looking around the sides, first and foremost, the front bottom here has the battery compartments. As you can see here, storage solution for your batteries. It's got 3 pouches, and I only have 2 batteries at the moment, planning on getting a third sometime down the road, but for right now this one is empty. And it also comes with 2 of these accessory storage bags that use clasps to get them on and off. So you've got 2 spots for them here. One of them is empty on this side as well as the other side. It's important to note that these are not identical, so this is not the same as the one on the other side, but it does offer you an extra spot here for additional bags in the future or whatever accessory you might need. The back of the backpack has these little D-rings in order to hang, you know, anything from a knife or a flashlight off of them. Offers pretty decent padding on the back, shoulder straps. Not the best I've seen, definitely not as good as my other actual hiking backpacks, but not too bad at all. So there's a thickness, as you can see, it's lined in mesh, so it wicks away any moisture you may have. The full back is also covered in mesh, and so pretty easy to whisk away any of the moisture that you may be sweating off of you. You can also find a compartment back here that is intended to hold any hydration system that you may have lying around. I happen to have a platypus that I use on one of my other bags. This one will easily fit in here as well, and you just route the tubing out the top, stay hydrated on your hikes. So I wouldn't carry this on a normal basis, but it's good to know that it's possible to, you know, insert this and use this as a regular day pack when you don't have your drone in here. Setting that aside, that I think is it. Oh, I did remove the little harness that secures right there, that goes around your belt line and buckles your backpack that way. It also has these chest straps here in case you wanted to you know, make sure the backpack wasn't going anywhere. It's nice and tight up against your body. So it's got this one across the chest as well as the belt one, which I took off. So something to note. Now let's see what all it holds. All right, so I've got the camera set up here up against the table so you can see everything that is currently held in my backpack. And just so you know, I'm right off, it's right off to the right here, so you know I'm not pulling items from anywhere else. I do have my platypus thing over there and my other camera bag as well as my tumbler, but these items aren't coming from anywhere else, so be rest assured that everything that I'm showing you actually fits somehow, some way in this bag, and I say that because it's pretty impressive. So let me start off by unloading the secondary compartment, which is the one where I keep my FPV-LR, and the reason I want to do that first is because I made this battery box into a makeshift holder for my FPV-LR antennas, as you can see there. They've got two sets of foam, one that's really squishy, really good for pressing stuff up against it, and then another one that's really hard and rigid, and this seems to be better for you know, putting in between the antenna that's long. I don't know much about antennas, but it just, you know, it keeps it from moving around. So there they are in all of their glory. I highly suggest you look into these if you do have a Typhoon H. These are awesome little things to have to increase your distance, or in my case to increase stability, since I do a lot of filming downtown in my city. I don't want to lose connection with my drone, so there's that. I've got my propellers. I carry all of them with me, so you can see that there. Set them on top of the box. Here's your first glance at this packaging bag. Pre-inflated, comes in that secondary compartment. This is important because I never deflate it. As soon as I remove everything from that specific bag or that specific compartment, I put this right back in. Not to say that it's weak in any way. I've had it sitting on the floor. I've purposely tried to pop it, you know, by pressing against it. It's really tough, and I don't think anything will happen to it. But just in case, you do get 4 of those in with your purchase, as well as something to put them in, some black unbranded bags to put them in. But again, I've set those off to the side, which I can show you one here. I don't carry these with me on a regular basis. They seem to add more trouble than they're worth, but this is what they look like. Completely unbranded. You're supposed to put the plastic bag inside for some additional safety, but I don't use them. I find that the bags themselves are pretty good on their own. So going into the main compartment, I have my DSLR, and yes, it really is in here, and I know it's a small bag. There it is. It's a Nikon D80, I believe. It is not what I used to record. It's just for photography. So there it is, the D80. Hopefully soon I'll be upgrading to a Canon 80D, which is funny enough because letters are reversed, even though this is super old. The 80D just came out recently. So anyway, DSLR, I'm gonna put it here towards the back. You've got a branded Drone Mountain bag that is intended to be used with the controller itself. So I've got the controller here with no antennas. There you go. So I'm going to set it back in the bag and towards the back of this table here. Alright, additionally, I do carry a straw or two because this is what's used to inflate those bags. And just in case anything goes wrong or they lose some of their air, just fill them right back up. You know, keep a straw or two in your bag. You'll be fine. Here's the secondary bag that I use. Again, they give you 4. I only use 2, so this is the second one. I'm going to set this off to the side while I take the drone out itself. But before I do that, I'm going to take the Seago 3 camera, which does have to be detached in order for you to package it or pack it. definitely keep the cover on it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it upside down, put it right here. And then lastly, in this main compartment at least, is the drone itself, but it looks like I didn't unzip the backpack enough, so there we go. Now to pull everything out. And I will be showing you how to package everything. Since this is a very slow unpackaging, I will show you just how quickly it can go if you do everything according to how I do it. So setting the drone down right there. There's no battery in that drone, and there's, of course, the Seago 3 isn't on it either, so that's how you'll have to end up packaging it. At the very bottom of the backpack, you have this stability piece of foam that also acts as a security for your legs. So I'll put it here on the ground. So when your drone is in the bag, the landing gear and two of the arms end up fitting into those little hole cutouts. So it ends up sitting just like that inside of the drone. So that's a good view at it. This is where I typically place the camera, so I'll give you a quick demonstration of how I do that. With these two arms up, this is the last step is to put them down, but with those up, I insert this camera right in between here, and then I drop one of the pieces of packaging, and then I put these arms down. I'll see if I can move the camera just a tad bit so you can see a little bit more of what's going on. So this is all, of course, assuming we're looking at it from the inside. So when you're traveling, oh, and then I place the DSLR right there. So when you're traveling, you can see the Seago 3 isn't moving at all. And there's absolutely no direct weight on it from any of the other pieces. So I find that that's the best way to do it. And, you know, if it works for you, then, you know, feel free to use my method. So setting that aside. And of course, I'll show you how I package everything and give you a real-time view of how long this will take. It might seem a little clumsy, but trust me, it is not clumsy at all. So let me get this out of the way. Only the demonstration is clumsy. All right, so put the camera off to the side. I'm going to reinsert this piece of foam, but not before telling you if you want what these cutouts are intended for. Wizard, the actual charging block, and the charging cord, and then you know about everything else. So make sure that when you insert it into your backpack, if you happen to take it out, that these cutouts have to be facing your back. So, you know, the back of the backpack. And this foam piece is also super important because it gives the whole backpack stability. So whether you're setting it on the ground or carrying it on your back, it forms the structure that the rest of the drone and accessories will wrap themselves around. So it's very important. All right, so moving on, I'm going to take the two batteries out. I'm going to see if I can zoom out a bit. Nope, I'm as zoomed out as possible. Sorry about that. So I do have these two batteries. I do write my FAA registration number here off to the side. I know that technically it should be on the drone itself, but if I ever want to sell the drone, I don't want any writing on there because that person's going to have to put their own on there if they want to technically follow the rules. So opening up the bag that's on the left, I'm going to first take out a set of microfiber cleaning cloths that are super important to have. I keep them in this little Polar Pro bag. Cleaning the lens, cleaning, you know, anything really. It's super important to have, especially if you've got camera equipment. That's a necessity. I do have a USB to micro USB cord, and I'll show you what I use that for here in a second. For now, I'm gonna set it off to the side right here. Looks like I've got a free-floating micro SD card and adapter, so the card is actually inside of the adapter here. Should be inside of the camera, but I don't know why I haven't put that in there yet. So anyway, these little bags, I'll show you a close-up of them here in a second after we get done unboxing everything, but they really have so many crevices that you'll be amazed what all you can fit. Here are the original antennas. Just put them down real quick. I've got the Wizard armband accessory, the Wizard itself, going on to the other bag, I've got this power bank. It's an EasyAC, I guess that's the name of the company, I'm not really sure. 20,000 milliamp hour rugged power bank. And so the reason it's rugged, it's completely waterproof and it is shock proof to some extent. I'll show you a quick clip right now of me tossing it on the ground. And it does have a built-in battery if you double click on it. So if you're ever out changing a tire or hiking and you need to be able to see the trail, it does have 4 LEDs there for the battery percentage. So each is 25%. And then lastly, I did say it was waterproof. That's because it's got this little flap here that when opened reveals 2 USB cords or ports for your cord that I mentioned earlier. And the reason that's important is because, you know, when I get home, after flying, first thing I do is charge up my batteries, but I tend to ignore the controller itself. And so if your controller is low at all out on the field, don't risk either having a flyaway or a catastrophic failure from loss of signal. Just, you know, charge it up even 10-15 minutes prior to the flight using one of these power banks and you'll be set to go. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what else I've got here. Alright, so the very last thing that I found in the pack is these ND filters by Polar Pro. I made a quick mention of the bag. It's one of the bags that comes with it. The reason I don't use the bags for these and I actually keep them in its original packaging is because, you know, they give you 3 individual packs, but how do you know what you're grabbing without, you know, taking all 3 out and then comparing how much light goes through each? So that wasn't a very nice solution. I'd rather keep the actual pack where you can clearly see through this window just what exactly you're getting, especially if you put them back where they belong. So if the pack allows for it, which it does, I'd much rather have this packaging with me. And so that's everything in the bag. I mean, it's completely emptied. So I'm going to go ahead and show you now a close-up of how I pack everything. Alright, so we're back now, and as you can see, this is a horrible camera angle. I do apologize for that, but unfortunately it's a necessary evil since we're having to look inside of a backpack here. But I'm going to try to go as quickly as possible, at least through this main compartment, to give you a real-world idea of how long it takes to pack up and go. I say that because the other bags, you know, the side bags would technically already be full, so would the first of the compartments up at the top, not the second or the third, but so I'll run through the second and the third as if it was a real world, you know, packing, and then the rest I'll just assume is pre-packed. And so I'll go here in about 3, 2, 1. So grab your drone after you've taken everything, you know, all the arms down and everything, and you secure it to the bottom. Want to make sure and tuck on this so that it's sitting towards, you know, towards the very bottom. Make sure and tuck in these the landing gear, and then the arms will just fall into place automatically. So once you've got that, raise these 2 up and proceed with the Seago camera. Here's the Seago camera. This will fit right there, as I said previously. Then you've got to grab one of these pieces of plastic and put it slightly off center because you're going to want to fit the controller. And the controller, remember, the back of the controller needs to face the back of the backpack. So it'll fit right back here. Offer it a good flat surface for your back. And then you put the piece of plastic on top. You lower these arms. Make sure that all of these little strings are inside. At this point, I'd like to put my DSLR and zip everything up. Here's where my gripe comes in about preferring metal little clasps as opposed to these, because if you pull too hard, you know, it could tear or rip. So anyway, main compartment done. Second comes this piece of plastic in vertically into the secondary compartment. I do that in order to fit my propellers, so they're nice and protected. And then lastly, my box contains my FPV-LR antennas. So this really is a deep compartment here. So there you go. I'd be leaving right now. But since we do have some packing to do, let me just go ahead and show you. Keep going at roughly the same pace. Fit in that battery. Next battery. These will go in this one. Actually, yeah, in this one. So as you can see, it's open here. I'm just going to let it naturally rest and zip it up. That's the only thing that I like to stick in that compartment, even though there's, you know, little places to put other stuff. So then I open this up, and this is where I stick my power bank, right in here. It does have spots for you know, pens or pencils in there in case you need to take some notes. Also IDs or money or your wallet or something. It's all velcroed right there. This other side is hanging down, prevents it from completely falling due to these strings. But this is where I'd like to place my wizard. So I just stick it into one of those little compartments. The little wizard armband I like to stick back here. These antennas that I don't really use, I don't know why I carry them. Stick them right there. Same with this one. Just loosely, you know, it doesn't really matter. I shouldn't really be traveling with them anyway. The cord would go in here. This little zip compartment at the front, as well as my SD card. And then these microfiber cloths can go in this main compartment as well. So that is absolutely everything. The table is completely clear. As soon as I clasp this, I'm ready to go. All right, so here we are at the conclusion of the video. Final thoughts, I absolutely love the bag. At $250, I will say it's a bit steep, but it is an all-in-one solution for somebody who's a content creator like me, somebody who might enjoy the outdoors and has a hobby in photography. There really is no alternative when it comes to traveling with your Typhoon H, your DSLR, and every single thing you would need, ND filters, you know, your battery backup, everything in one place with additional space to carry snacks, drinks. You know, usually if I'm staying in the city, I tend to just take my tumbler with me. The bag overall, I could not be happier with. I think that it solves a lot of my issues, you know, traveling with certain things. It's not perfect though, and I will say that I made mention of the zipper ties that I wish were metal clasps. I still stand behind that. There was one instance where I tugged too hard and this little plastic piece fell off, which was easy enough to put on, but when you're out in the middle of, you know, the wilderness, maybe even, you know, just a grassy area like this, if that little black piece were to fall off, even in 2 or 3 inch grass, it'd be kind of hard to find. Additionally, you know, you don't want to spend any extra time on your knees on this rough terrain than you have to. You just want to pack up and go. And so I kind of wish that these would be replaced in the second iteration, if there is a second iteration of this backpack. Secondly, I forgot to make mention of this. The backpack does come with this camera bag. This bag, I believe, is too small for the Seago 3 Plus, or the Seago 3 for that matter. I've seen the camera inside of this bag in the initial vendor video. I would not try to force it in here. I would much rather feel more comfortable with the Seago 3 free floating like I tend to pack it, because it does not move whatsoever and it is 100% secure in there. Additionally, I like to make use of as little product as possible. So even though he sent us 4 of these bags, unbranded bags, I don't carry any of those unbranded bags with me. And even though he sent us 4 of these inflatable packaging protectors, I only carry 2, as you saw in the video. And yeah, I mean, apart from those 2 gripes, not wanting to use this because feeling as if I'd have to really, you know, stuff the camera in there, and it's such a vulnerable component, I don't want to force it. And also the clasps. Apart from those 2 things, this bag is great. If you're not using it for drone videos, you can use it as a day pack, super easy. I mean, I proved that by telling you that there was a solution for hydration system in there. So just imagine how much you could stuff in here if the drone wasn't in there. So it goes above and beyond its initial purpose. It acts as a secondary day pack. It comes with additional placeholders for more packs that may suit your needs even better. Just go on eBay, go on Amazon, buy some additional one of these clasped bags. These bags that he did pick out are incredibly useful. There are so many little nooks and crannies and compartments that I could fit tons more into them. I'm not using them to their highest capacity as is, but yet I have everything I would need for a shoot with me. Not a single thing is missing. If I wanted to stuff the charger in the bag, I could. If I wanted to stuff the car charger in the bag, I could. If I wanted to stuff you know, anything else that came with the drone, I would have more than enough space to do that. It has 3 spots for batteries, which are super convenient. I mean, I love just being able to lift this flap and grabbing a new battery. I've countless times been out flying, and I, you know, bring the drone back because I see that it's hitting 4.6, 4.7 volts, and so I just drop it down, pull it out, grab a new one, put it back in, put the bird back in the air. So super easy. I don't have to mess around with the box. I hate that box. I hate that box, and I know some of you hate that box too. That's why you're searching for alternatives such as the official backpack, some third-party Chinese knockoffs. Trust me, I've looked into those as well, and I may still end up purchasing one of those in the future. But instead of just getting a bag that purely carries my drone and nothing else, I wanted something that would hold my drone and then some. Again, what did it for me was being able to carry my DSLR. I do YouTube videos, as you can see here. I also have a photography hobby, and in addition to the aerial video and photography hobby. And so I really want everything that I could possibly need with me out there on the field, and this is definitely the solution for me. So if you guys are at all interested in it, it is available for $250 from the vendor. The vendor is Drone Mountain. His website is dronemountain.us. I know I'm ranting now. Hopefully I'm using some of this space to fill in some video that I previously filmed. This was a 2-day film, primarily because I lost the audio, or I didn't lose the audio. The audio was horrible the first time around. So I'm wearing a different shirt now than I am in my introduction. So hopefully you guys got to see some good instructional video on how to put everything in this pack, and hopefully my feedback is helpful to you in some way. This is Christian from Android Unite, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.